You're welcome to the second segment on your program of choice this morning on ITV, broadcasting live this 24th day of March 2022 from Mpapehi here in Abuja. I am your host, Ebenezer Oyetake, on Nationalism and You. And with me to take a look at Nigeria economic base, expanding Nigeria economic base through agriculture this morning is no other person than Comrade Haruna Braimo. He is the Director of Media Publicity Advocacy for Good Governance Network, West Africa. Nigeria and West Africa, be West Africa.
West Africa.
Okay, beautiful. You are welcome to our studio, and in the spirit and characteristic of this studio, of this program, I say nationalism and you.
It's my responsibility to be a good citizen and contribute to the development of my nation, Nigeria.
Beautiful. Yesterday, only yesterday, President Muhammadu Buhari commissioned 3 million metric tons of fertilizer plant built by a private citizen, Dangote, in Lagos. And he expressly said this will impact positively on the increase of agricultural practices and harvest, and it will also help Nigeria to generate foreign exchange. To what extent?
Basically, to a very large extent, generating foreign exchange, creating jobs for the locals, and expanding the agricultural base and creating value chains along the line. And most importantly, it's a big, we should see it as a challenge on other bigger players around the private sectors, big capitalists in Nigeria who have billions stashed abroad, who are investing outside Nigeria, that a Nigerian has challenged us or has challenged them with this kind of gigantic, audacious project that is uncommonly done in a sector that hitherto is not really looking to, the agri sector. Because most of the persons, most of the big men in Nigeria always want to invest in quick cash, oil, forex, stock, and what have you. But this is a man has come up now, not just building the biggest fertilizer plant in Nigeria, but the biggest in Africa, and for export and local production, you understand? So it's a huge one, it's commendable, and we also have to commend the federal government and the Lagos state government for creating their enabling environment. If you listen to what Sawolu, the governor of Lagos state, was saying, navigating or taking us on memory lanes on the bets of such of the Lekki Free Trade Zone that created the opportunity for Dangote to leverage on to bring his industry to that particular side. That's the enabling environment we are talking about how he followed the Asiwaju of Nigeria, Chibola Ahmed Tinubu, to China in 2003, trying to create to get a template for a free trade zone in Lagos. And today, you can imagine how many years, visionary leadership, how many years down the line, and somebody is leveraging on such and bringing not just fertilizer, bringing the biggest single running refinery in the world to that same place, creating deep sea ports in that same area. You know, it's massive and it's a welcome development. So to a large extent, it's going to stratify a lot of social, micro, and macroeconomics revelations.
Many people said that agriculture can actually be a fundamental instrument to expand Nigeria economic base and even expand the component of our GDP to the extent of being able to absorb the myriads of youth unemployment challenge that we are having. Do you share this view?
Absolutely. It's not about many people. It's known by any right-thinking educated or economist or individual that food is important to man, and agriculture is the source of food. So any nation that want to develop, a hungry mind cannot drive innovation. A hungry mind cannot think. And to curb hunger, you have to get the food. And to get the food, you have to go into agriculture. And that is what the president has been hampering on. When he came to power in 2015, he bettered his program on a tripod of fighting security, corruption, and developing the economy. And one of these focal points of expanding the economy is diversification of the economy through agriculture and agri-related program. And over the years, in the last few years, he has created policies and programs that have really opened up the agri sector, created incentives for the agri, like the land something program that was designed to recruit how many thousands across the several areas of 4 local governments in Nigeria youth under the agri program, working on the existing extension program for farmers, expanding them and bringing a whole lot. But the question is not about the federal government. I think it is an opportunity for us to let Nigeria know. I always like to deconstruct narratives. We'll be having a wrong narrative of how the Nigeria economy should work and how it ought to work. Nigeria is stratified under federal system of government or federal form of government of federal, state, and local government. Each with its own constitutional responsibility. The federal government accounts for 40-something% of the revenue and problems and solutions of Nigeria. That is the truth. And these problems, revenue, and solutions are well captured under exclusive and concurrent list. Let's take it down to the concurrent list. The concurrent list talks about the powers and programs that the state and federal government can undertake, and one of them is agriculture. One of them is basically agriculture. Show me a governor in Nigeria that have designed a blueprint of agricultural program that is really driving, or keying it into the federal government. There is no synchronization of agricultural policy. The federal government will just wake up and create a robust blueprint on agriculture for expansion to create this, create that. At the end of the day, the governor will be going right, the federal government will be going left. The federal government will be going south, the governors will be going. There is no synchronization. A lot of program has been brought up. How many governors have really tried to key into it by domesticating such policy from the central? For example, the Anchor program. When President Muhammadu Buhari came to power, he discovered that we are using billions of dollars to import rice. And this is a staple food. How can you be using staple food in the sense that this is a food that Nigeria, can produce? And the first thing he did was to carry out a survey. And we discovered that 14 states in Nigeria can actually feed the whole Nigeria and by extension West Africa on rice production. And he created a program, the Anchor Borrower Scheme, where he mandated through the CBN, mandated the central bank governor. These states should, with mandate that the states should be supported. And some of these states are Ebonyi State, Edo State, Kano, Jigawa, Kebbi, across. For example, Edo State. Edo State has 4 local government or 5 local government that have the capacity of not just producing rice for Edo State, but producing rice that can take Ekiti, Ondo, and Delta plus Edo. And today, you go to Edo State, you cannot find that rice. And the money was released. I'm on air. The money was 5.6 billion, was released in shares. But go to Ebonyi State. The governor took the program, redefined it, created an enabling environment. Today, in the year, we're talking of Abakaliki rice. The Abakaliki rice of today is not like the foreign rice. David Umar keyed into it. So, many agri policies like that. Look at the palm oil. National Institute for Oil Palm Research, NIFO.
I was going to come to that. Recently, as a matter of fact, about 2 weeks ago, a conference was held in Uganda over agriculture, about agriculture, and you won't believe it was a partnership between African Arab Youth Council and the RU Forum. RU Forum is a regional university forum for agriculture,
yes,
comprising 200 universities in Africa. They assembled in Makerere University and they were deliberating how to expand African economy
through agriculture.
And you will not believe Nigeria took the day because the example you are talking about regarding Buhari's initiative on rice, you know, it was noted before Buhari came, we were consuming 95% of imported rice.
Yeah, of course.
When Buhari came, we were producing over 90% of our consumption.
Of course.
Within how many years? Before Buhari came, the conference was informed we had about 3.5 million rice farmers in Nigeria. When Buhari came, we are having over 15 million rice farmers.
You saw the rice pyramid.
There are, like you mentioned, there are value chains created,
yes,
factories, to the extent that even Lagos and Kebbi State went into partners on value chains and the rest of the processing factory, all of this and that kind of a thing. And they were saying, if Nigeria can achieve this on only one product, rice alone, what happened to other segments, like palm oil you are asking and the rest of it? So that is where taking responsibility by states and everyone comes into place. Are the states responding to initiative of federal government?
Most of the states are not responding. Most of the states are not because they don't have a deliberate policy on agriculture. When you have a deliberate, I was in a meeting or happened to be in a media dialogue with the vice president about a few years ago. I posed a question to Professor Yomi Osinbajo that why are some of these policies, is there a way, because you know you don't have the power to force a state to key to your policy because of the constitutional demarcation, but at least we have the National Economic Council where all of you meet, and you are the vice president of Nigeria, and you are the chairperson or the chairman of that council. How do you, through Office of Budget and Economic Planning and other agencies, work with the commissioners of these states to let all of us drive a synchronized synergy in policy formula, especially on agriculture, so that whatever is going on, if it's domesticated across this state, the impact will be well fed. No matter what the policy of federal government as far as agriculture is concerned, all the states and the federal level, and it cannot account in any way or the long run in benefit across the 36 states and several others of the 4 local government, until the other tiers of government who also have the agricultural responsibility as empowered in their constitution, just like education. These are part of the problem. You are going north in education, the states are going south. By the time you agree something with ASU here, the states will tell you they are not part of it. The same thing with agriculture. So programs or policies that are in the concurrent schedules of the Constitution, where the state and federal government have the same powers or have almost the same power, there should be synchronization of this policy. Agriculture, federal government of Nigeria has picked Edo State as one of the states with capacity for as far as palm oil is concerned, that can produce palm oil. Don't forget that Malaysia came to Edo State in the 70s to pick palm front to Malaysia, to learn how to utilize palm front for palm oil. Today, Malaysia is the highest producer of palm oil in the world. We are now importing more than 70% of our palm oil consumption for the same Malaysia. People that came to Edo State to learn, and the federal government has designed a policy. And I'm happy, and I think from so far, though I feel it's a little bit slow, because since 2019 or so, the CBN government has made it available an open check of about 36 billion for the Edo State for the palm oil empowerment program. And so far, I think it's slow, and I think His Excellency Governor Obaseki has a lot to do in fast tracking. He's holding meeting with smallholders, farmers, and all that. There should be everything he's doing with that money, that fund should be well domesticated along with his own policy. When there is no state agri policy, no amount of federal policy that can work with it. Regardless, that is just the truth. And unfortunately, across all the states, there is no deliberate policy. They just give surface approach to it and go back to the local government where the real farmers are. How many local government chairmen in Nigeria have economic policy that are built or that is anchored on agriculture for food production, for subsistence farmers, not even go commercial? The Dangotes we are celebrating now, they are already on mechanized. This is a mechanized approach. This is a sophisticated approach. Let's drive food sufficiency right from the grassroots level, because that is the actual base of the economy.
Now again, on the African level, we withdraw it from the African level down to Nigerian level. And now, one of the issues they raised in the conference in Uganda is that African countries should form intra-trading system among themselves based on comparative advantage on what you can produce as a nation.
Yes.
So what you can produce as a Nigeria, let Uganda take what they cannot produce from you, and you take what you can produce and the rest of it before we navigate the world,
of course,
on trade level. Let's draw that down to Nigeria.
These are some of the questions with the Africa Trade Agreement.
So how do you draw that down to Nigeria?
The question is, you can only give out what where you already have excess. That is what African countries right now. It's not about bringing cooperative advantage will come in. But if we quickly open that window, if we activate that window now where we cannot feed ourselves, trust Nigerians. We'll begin to take this rice. We prefer to sell it outside Nigeria to make more money. That is why
I am talking about comparative advantage at home. Why don't equity state, whatever you can produce massively,
take it to a Lagos State partner with a Kebbi State. They may not have the land because it's a coastal area. They may not have the huge land to part, but they have the fund to supply to Kebbi State farmers with agreement with the Kebbi State government. By the time you produce, you take the raw rice, and they are now building one of the biggest factory in Nigeria, rice milling factory in Nigeria, in Lagos State, where it will be mill. That is what we are talking of, the cooperative advantage. The areas, but have we done that locally before going continental? That is what we are even talking about right here in Nigeria. No state in Nigeria that does not have any cooperative advantage as far as agriculture is concerned. No state.
It appears that the institutions that measure our what do you call it, our progressivism in both national statistic of employment and unemployment and things of that nature, like the Bureau for public Bureau for what do you call it, statistics and things of that nature, they are not encouraging or probably making the agricultural sector fascinating to our younger generation. For example, before Buhari came to power, 3.5 million rice farmers. Most of their rice cannot be touched because they said they are stony and that kind of a thing.
Of course.
He came with the rice revolution, over 15 million added to it. And if you talked about the processing factories and the rest of it, we are talking 15 million farmers. Now, with the processing and all of that, you will have employed about, say, 16 to something million people in that sector. But the Bureau for Public for Statistics, National Bureau for Statistics, did not in any way mention that when they are rolling out statistics of unemployment in Nigeria. Is that not bias?
The question is, what are their parameters and yardsticks?
Yes, I ask you.
You know, their yardsticks and parameters are very limited. And their capacity to even carry out some of these things are also limited. And that is where I also point a state in Nigeria to me that have a state bureau of statistics. Okay. You understand? Yes, just point a state. How many Nigerians, for example, let me digress to another point. How many Nigerians know the difference between federal government budget and the national budget? Okay. And we rely on the federal government budget that is presented by President Muhammadu Buhari to the National Assembly, year in, year out, come on television like this to analyze the economy, to drive our statistics as a parameter, as yardsticks to measure the economic indices of a country. Meanwhile, the same country hosts 36 states plus FCT and several others of the 4 local governments who have the constitutional powers and responsibility and does their own budgets. You see the limitations.
Very well.
The National Bureau of Statistics will begin to give or a semblance of 90% or 80% fact-based analysis of statistics only if its yardsticks and parameters are holistic, go around the country. But a situation whereby their source of information is also limited to the center.
Now again,
so the unemployment something is, you are very correct, is the figures are always exaggerated. The informal sector of Nigeria account for more than 70%. Those that are not captured in any way, but they earn out a living, they make money. They are on task, they are very highly informal. from film production to music to entertainment to all sorts of sports to all sorts of to Agbero and co. Yes, they eke out a living and they make money. Some of them are millionaires, but they belong to that sector that is not even captured in any way. Not talk of the local farmers or the local economic stratifiers in the locals of the locals in the villages.
One of the things identified as factors militating towards the practices of agriculture and expansions of it is this disinterest of our youth and young people in agriculture.
Yeah,
why so?
Because the government has not, I keep repeating it, the government policy has not narrowed down. It has to be up to down until every of our political office holder begin to put agriculture as in the front burner of their programs and policies in manifestos. Nobody. They are the leaders. What is leadership by example? We are making reference to President Muhammadu Buhari because he has not just make mouth. You remember as they were saying, so far he has invested in more than 40-something fertilizer plants across Nigeria beyond the Dangote's own, who is private driven. One is also in Edo State, in Ikpeshi, now near Auchi, that I can say that was moribund and he reactivated it a lot across the country. That is leadership. How many state governors have been able to activate or reactivate or build or create any fertilizer company in their states? Buhari cannot do it alone, and Buhari cannot encourage the young ones to go into agriculture alone. Buhari cannot do that alone. Until every political leader in Nigeria, from federal to the local government, until every elite begin to drive, we should take agriculture as a patriotic, the agricultural message should be a patriotic message right now. The need for the youth, for all of us to go back. I'm into animal husbandry. I'm a professional auditor and accountant. I'm a media personality. One way or the other, everybody should begin to realign with agriculture. Because it's the future, it's the mainstay at the end of the day. It's unfortunate that the latest report I was reading that agriculture contributes 24% still in Nigeria economy. 24%.
How much would you have wanted it to contribute?
80.
Now let us proceed from there. One of the things identified is the mindset of the young people, seeing agriculture, mindset of young people and some educated people, seeing agriculture as a occupation for non-well-to-do people, a dirty occupation, and a tedious occupation. How can we change this mindset?
Improving the value chains. Creative policies that will actually improve the value chains. Creative policies that will be incentive driven. First of all, agriculture is one sector that needs a lot of subsidy, not fuel subsidy. They are wasting our money on. That is where the real subsidy comes from. Even till tomorrow, it's not a capitalist venture, because under the cobweb theory of agriculture, it's not driven, the product and everything around agriculture is not necessarily driven by market forces or the long run. Or the short run, because of scarcity, you may be having increase in food prices. But when it's surplus, it's not driven. So that is where the government always need to drive, create incentives across it. I keep referring to it. No matter the settings of federal government, it will not trickle down. It will have little or no effects until state and local government key into such policies. So that we will create incentives and make the value chain vibrant. For example, when you are producing, like the Ruga program that was being designed.
Maybe okay.
The Ruga program that was being designed is telling you that the value chains around animal husbandry will be the people who are rearing the animal, who are ranching. The government make money by collecting taxes from there, giving them the environment. You ranch in that place. The man that is doing forage, bring forage for you. That's a value chain. Mm-hmm. The man that is going to be doing abattoir is having abattoir in that same place. That's another value chain. The man that is coming to pick the bones for further production, for calcium or whatever production, for medication or whatever. These are all the value chains we are talking about. We are talking of also the need to build or to create environment for real warehousing of our product. Most of our product in Nigeria waste on the way. You carry oranges from Benue. You know how many tons of oranges waste every day in Benue State, or fruits, related fruit. It's unfortunate that in 21st century we are still using J5 to carry pineapple from Edo State to the north.
Some people have said that one of
yes. These chains, the government should make deliberate policies that will attract private investors to invest along the chains. Somebody can be providing warehousing facilities. Just get when I get the product from the farmer, I pay for the warehouse to store it there. You understand? The warehouse owner will make his own money. These are a lot of value chain that will go with. These are all value chains that people will begin to invest in, and then the youth will begin to see agriculture as a source of not just for feeding, sustainable source of living for themselves.
One of the things that people talked about, maybe that's accounted for the reasons why we are still having abysmal low level of percentage of contributions of agriculture to what you call GDP, is that the mindset of the youth and young people towards agriculture are ingrained by practical experiences, such as the young man saw the mother and the father practicing subsistence farming, so tedious, cultivating from morning till night till noon, sweating profusely like animals of burden, and at the end of the day they can hardly even feed properly, let alone if they manage to borrow money or sell some of their land and send their children to school. They begin to preach to their children, you see the way I am suffering in this farm, please face your education so that you will not come to suffer like this, and the rest of it. And it applies to even lecturers that are teaching agricultural lecturer in the universities. They saw their mothers, their parents pass through a tedious agricultural processes and the rest of it, and they graduated, they became a lecturer. Maybe they took a course in agriculture because there was no availability of what they want to choose for studies and the rest of it. You saw agricultural lecturer that are teaching the children, but the teachings are not going down with the children in order to familiarize them to soil and the rest of it. So you see agricultural students that is running for soil and water. You see agricultural lecturer that is not ardently tilted towards a practicality of what he's teaching and that kind of a thing. How can we effect a turnaround of this mindset?
There should be a change in the mindset of citizens, number one. And also the government, as we talk about a subsidy, subsistence farming, commercial farming, we should be well categorized. How many government programs are actually geared towards subsistence farming? Most of the time, the government programs are for commercial farmers, mechanized farmers. They create all sorts of. I just explained to you how Dangote had to leverage on the free trade
environment. Yes.
These are huge programs that were created. How many programs have been created by government that is geared towards driving subsistence farming? Because the death of local farmers is actually the death of food security, of food sufficiency. So I think there should be a program where for me, where government begin to say, every two children of a farmer should be given free education. A true farmer, a recognized farmer in any community, pick two. Because whatever their family, of course, it's not competitive in the market for them to sell, to raise income, to train their children. One encouragement. Tools, modern tools of farming. The extension workers that are being created across, there are extension workers. That's give me the question of what is the state doing. The federal government created an extension program that is across all the local governments in Nigeria. What are the states doing in supporting such program? When the extension worker need to be going around these subsistence farmers.
So that hoes and cutlasses and diggers can be replaced with machines.
Exactly, shall be replaced with machine.
Cultivators.
Tell them the modern style of farming, give them the better yields, the improved seedlings that have been scientifically discovered, that is in vogue. Let them have good yields. A whole lot need to be created. And all these things cannot be possible if the state and local government does not key into it. Agricultural programs in Nigeria are designed at the federal, driven by federal government, and unfortunately they don't trickle down. And that is the bane. Until the state government, we are going towards election year next year. How many manifestos has talked about agriculture? Just listen to all the campaign that will be going around. We only know Buhari, he made it as part of his program, and he's been doing it. Even it's an indictment on all APC governors. Yes. Because if the leader of your party, where you belong to, is driving with sense of vigor agricultural program, what are you doing as a state governor under the same party, political party?
Many people have complained about the Nigerian GDP being the largest in the continent of Africa at the rate of 460, oscillating between 460, even let us put it at $500 billion per annum. That is GDP now. Many people are saying that this is far too low, and that they are saying agriculture, if it is well practiced based on the way we are analyzing it, can raise the GDP to almost $1 trillion.
More than 1 trillion, of course. More than 1 trillion. Agriculture today, whether we like it or not, account for more than 60 to 70% of employment in Nigeria that are not even captured by the NBS, National Bureau of Statistics. Because 80% of people in the local places, they go to farm. That is their source of living. That is their employment. You understand? Even the GDP that is being calculated is on assumption and estimation.
Okay.
Yes, because I just challenged the NBC now. How many offices they don't have across that state? And in those states, what are the parameters, what are the machinery they are using to assess information they need to drive the statistics figure?
So
everything is just assumption. Assumption. When Nigeria is ready with more than 200 million people, with more than 113
which
youths,
is the real market.
which is the real market, with more than 113 million youths, with more than 53% Nigeria between the age of 14 and 23, we don't have any business with
if you have any message to the nation, to Nigeria, regarding expanding our economic base through agriculture, what will you be advising?
The biggest message is for the federal government. It should be an executive order from President Muhammadu Buhari. I'm using this opportunity to call on the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, to use an executive order or executive bill through the National Assembly that will make it compulsory for all states to key it to have an economic blueprint that is built anchor on agricultural expansion for Nigerians and Nigeria.
The president should issue executive order or through National Assembly an order that will compel the state to take agriculture seriously as a mechanism to expand.
It's the only hope and it's the only way.
We have been talking to Comrade Haruna Brahimo, the Director of Media and Publicity Advocacy for Good Governance Network, Nigeria and West Africa. It's been wonderful having you on our station. And we hope when we have opportunity to beckon on you again, you will make yourself available.
It's my pleasure.
It's always a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Agriculture is the highest employer of labor the world over, even in the advanced economy. So we can do better. The Nigeria GDP is too low. Whether we capture it well or not, it is still too low to consider as the largest in the continent of Africa, when some European countries that are having 5 million, 10 million populations are having GDP of 1 trillion, 800 billion and things of that nature. Through agriculture alone, and if our states key into it effectively the way the federal government is pushing it, we can expand the economy basis to accommodate our citizens, generate employment, and have a better living standard. This is where we draw in the curtain on nationalism and you this morning. But don't change the channel, because ITV is always here to entertain, to educate you, and to keep you informed. I remain your host, Ebenezer Oyetakin. See you next week, Thursday again.
Thank you very much.